Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your host, JP Jump Oz from the two-man power trip. Of course, joining me is the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, John. You know who I think is it John Fetterman? You know who John Fetterman is from
The
Pennsylvania?
the big goof? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you wearing a John Fetterman pullover right
No.
now?
Why, is it too big?
No, no. It just looks like something John Fetterman would wear. So, so that's what went through my mind right there for a minute.
I
But
saw somebody made a whatever it's called, meme or GIF, whatever the heck it's called, and it was like a gigantic pullover that he was wearing. Yeah,
well, it,
he's a slob, as he likes to
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. But they just made a rule that you don't have to wear business attire on the floor anymore. So he
Yes,
can get away with it, and they're doing it for him. Or that's I guess that's a speculation. Who else? Who else would dress like that?
I don't know. Cory Booker was dressed kind of weird the other day too. New Jersey
Well,
guy. He's a
take
weird little
advantage.
bit.
Yeah.
Ibsen,
Hello,
hello Ibsen.
Ibsen.
CPB station evening, my dear gentlemen. Good evening.
That was yelling at a CPB, but that's all
Yep.
right. I can take the yelling. That's cool. I'm
Yes.
hard of hearing anyway.
Yes. So, what's going on in the world of the JPWA?
This is our week off. We'll start next week, a new class, the final class of 2023, the fall session, and looking forward to it. And gosh, well, it's a week off for some. I've got a lot of stuff going on this week that I've got to take care of before we go back to class.
As far as the WWE is concerned, there's obviously been a ton of releases. I believe that there was 20 or so, and then I think there was even more of NXT talent that wasn't mentioned. Plus, with TKO and Endeavor, there was about 100 office jobs that were released. People that got their jobs cut as well. So I mean, there was a ton of cuts over there in WWE.
Were there 20?
I believe. Let's see. Oh, I actually wrote it down.
Okay. I didn't realize there was 20.
Yeah, over 20.
Over 20. Okay.
Yep.
Well, is there more imminent
So
releases?
So some are saying that there's going to be more coming. I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows with the sheets online and everything else, but they're saying that there's going to be more.
Well, there's always cuts, and there's always uh, somebody with an opinion of who should be cut and who shouldn't. So that's been going on for a long, long time. But now with this Endeavor deal happening, they really have to find some space for people, and I think I think no matter what happens, there's going to be a flood of people out there like Dolph Ziggler who's not going to have any problem getting booked and doing seminars or whatever they want to do. I really believe that.
CPB is saying Disney is making cuts as well.
Everybody's making cuts these days. Everybody seems to be making cuts.
Were you surprised at Ziggler? And I know 19 years there, it's a long time, but obviously he's a big star, he's a big name, a former champion. Were you surprised at anybody in the name? And maybe was Ziggler surprising?
No, no, I wasn't really surprised with anybody that got cut. It's open season, and they're looking for somebody to to leave to open up new spots. They've got to keep it fresh, and it was usually after WrestleMania when the cuts would come. So it's been a long time coming, and they hung on for as long as they could. And Dolph had a great run, had a really great run there. World champion. He was world champion twice, three times.
Twice. Yep.
Okay, Intercontinental champion a couple times, tag team champion.
Yep.
Yeah, so and he made good money. I'm sure. I would imagine.
Hello, Mitch Miller. Good
Good
evening.
evening, Mitch.
Hello,
Jason.
Jason. Hello. With that, talent relations, did you ever have to make the call where somebody was getting cut?
No, but they would let us know and ask what we thought. Sometimes we'd say we didn't agree, but that didn't matter because they were going to do what they wanted to anyway. But no, no, I take that back. We did have, we did have to make a list of who would be on our cut list and who wouldn't. I agree. I'm sorry, we did.
Oh, wow. A lot of
Yeah.
names on yours or no?
There were the usual suspects. I can't tell you. It's been so long since I've had to sit down and do any of that stuff or have a meeting with Steve, Norman, Billy Kidman. I was trying to think who else was when we were doing it, but we would all pretty much be in agreement.
Interesting. CPB saying Ziggler's a solid hand. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, and I really think you can do something with Dolph Ziggler. He's got there's something about him. He doesn't look like your average bear, and he's talented. So I think he's going to land on his feet. I think he'll be okay.
CPB says if they cut refs, Dr. Tom will return as the quote unquote scab ref.
Will Dr. Tom? He didn't say Dr. Tom.
Oh, will Dr.
Yes.
Tom. I'm sorry, Will. I thought you said
that's a negative. CPB or CPV. Yeah.
Ibsen, I just watched Unforgiven 1999. Saw Dr. Tom as a ref for the Mark Henry D'Lo Brown, and Dr. Tom did a good job. Did he have to learn from other refs that day?
You know what? And the Brooklyn Brawler had a great comment because we were doing the scab referee thing, and he said we should be scab referees. We shouldn't know what we're doing. Shouldn't be as good at it or better than the other referees. So, no, didn't have to learn. I was just trying to referee as best I could. And then when Brawler said that, I thought, man, he's got a good point. We're supposed to be scabs. We're not supposed to know what we're doing. That was the story.
That is a good bit of psychology there from him. It makes a lot of sense.
Makes a ton of sense. You got professional referees, and I forgot what the deal was. Did they walk out, or what was the angle on that?
The hell was that? Was that something with Triple H? They had a problem with Triple H and Stephanie or something?
Something. And they had to find referees, and that was just one of those things like, hey, you want a referee? Yeah. You want a referee? Okay. That's one of those. And then they just ran with it.
Did you like being a referee?
No.
Did they pay you any? Did they pay extra at least?
Well, I got paid for working the shows, but no. Come to think of it, because it was just on TV, so no, I didn't get paid any extra. It was just working the show.
It was a parody off of the NFL deal that was going on at the time. Ah, makes sense. Okay.
Okay, now I get it. Yeah, it's been a few too many years.
Why did you get released yourself? You were the trainer for the company. Why release you when you're training the next generation?
Because there was a change of administration, and they had their own people they wanted in there.
Triple H obviously takes over from the FCW ranks, the NXT ranks, and he picks his guys.
That's right. I was John Laurinaitis' guy, and Triple H needed his guys, and I understand that. No problem.
Do you love Johnny Ace? Is that obviously we always talk about how he's probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but do you love him personally or no?
Wait, when did we ever talk about Johnny Ace being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time?
Oh, sorry, I just threw that in there. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you did. Some of the shit you want to throw by me, and then all of a sudden you think I don't register. Yeah. No, I don't love Johnny Ace. Johnny just gave me a job twice, and that was it.
Are we saying that he didn't have the greatest ace crusher of all time, aka Diamond Cutter?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
He probably one of the greatest ace crusher. Ace crusher.
Richard's saying full of shit. Johnny Ace is not the best. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, John. He was saying you're full of shit. Yeah, no, it's not a great joke. It's a terrible joke. That's why John Fetterman is in your head tonight. You're wearing a John Fetterman. You pull over. You're talking like John Fetterman.
Barbara says, hello. Sorry I'm late. Hope you're having a great week.
Barbara, you're not late. We just come in early. Well, no, we're on time. Yeah, you're late, Barbara. Sorry.
Yes. Doink, a.k.a. Betrayed by Sin, says, hello, everyone. Hope all is well. Love that picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture.
But Johnny Ace, you don't think he was that good, huh? Is that what you're trying to say? In ring?
Okay. You're putting words in my mouth.
Okay.
I just said Johnny Ace. I didn't love Johnny Ace. In the end, I liked Johnny, and Johnny did a lot of things for me. But Johnny Ace knew his spot. His spot was Japan, because he could get over that way. And John knew how to wear a suit and look good.
Johnny Ace is the man. We know that. If you weren't released, how long more would you have wanted to continue as a trainer with the WWE?
Well, I would have if I wasn't released, I'd work until I was released. It's just and nobody understands that environment until you go there and you immerse yourself in it. It's not a 9 to 5. It's 24/7, and you better be able to answer. You better be ready to answer the phone whenever they call. If you don't, you better have a good excuse why. And it doesn't matter if you're eating. It doesn't matter if you're in the shower. It doesn't matter if you were out with your wife. You answer the phone. That at least that's the way it was back then, and it it was consuming, all consuming, but it was a great gig. It's just it's not what everybody thinks it is, and you just go in and I remember when they wanted a curriculum, and I said that's not the way you do this. You don't. There's no A B C D E because it doesn't work like that. People learn on different levels. Kind of find out people learn on different levels, and they found that out. So after I had this curriculum, which was just a diversion to say, well, I didn't have a curriculum. There's a reason to fire me. Once they had it, they still don't use an A B C D E curriculum. They do what's appropriate, and they have meetings and they talk about what this person needs, that person needs, what this group needs, and the best way to go about it. Some days you're working really good on blow up drills. Let's just use that as an example. And some people are getting it, and some people aren't. And you feel you have to, as a coach too. I think you have to feel the vibe. You have to feel the read the room, if you will. And you got to know how to get people to learn. And if people are just being mind numbed into something that they're not getting on Monday, then you need to know how to switch gears and change. And if you can't do that midstream, then you won't last very long. But I thought I was pretty good at doing that midstream. If what we had planned on Monday wasn't working, let's go to something else, and we'll visit this back on Thursday or Friday or another day, no matter what it is. And that's not what was being told. And I don't think they're being completely honest with me when they told me this, that they needed a 1 year curriculum. But I gave it to them. If that's what they wanted. But they knew it was
Right.
wrong, and I knew it was wrong. So
Is that the way they still do it? He said, "Oh, Doink, underrated heel." I agree.
I
But is
agree.
that the way they still do it today, or you have no idea as far as
I don't believe it is, and I've talked to some people at the PC, um, and it's done in a more efficient manner, I think. But they have over 150 people, I think, at the PC right now. A lot of people. And they got to get rid of some to make room for the next wave. So
Yeah, I that's what I heard also besides the 25 names or so that were cut, that there was 18 released from the but we haven't seen that were just at the performance center. So I guess there were some that were there that never made it even to level up, or they never made to NXT, but they were at the performance center training.
right, and that's the most heartbreaking part of it is guys who've been busting their ass there the whole time and never even get a shot, never even get to smell the main roster. So I think it's one of those things that with Endeavor on board, and now that they are the new, are they 100% owners?
51.
51. Okay, so oh, they're 51, so they're majority though,
Yes. Yep.
so they can make the calls.
Yep.
Okay, well with that, then I'm sure they may take a look at the PC. They may look at the contracts. They may look at the criteria, and now it may become one of those things where we want to know how this is working. What is your plan to either move these people up or move them out, and see how that works? But I don't think that's the way they're doing it today. FCW is a whole different animal than what NXT is.
Did Johnny Ace make more money than his brother, Road Warrior Animal?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Johnny did pretty good. Johnny did pretty good in Japan. He did pretty good in the office.
You figure He's on the Richard's saying it too. He's on the payroll. Yeah, he's on the executive payroll for all those years. To what, 20 years basically?
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible. He's probably getting paid, 200K a year, whatever it is to be an
Oh,
executive,
probably
maybe
way more
more.
than that.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
probably more. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a lot of stuff, and I think he got paid very well for it.
Here's a question. Please ask Dr. Tom if he watched the Wrestlers show on Netflix, and is Al Snow a good trainer and promoter? Well, we know you're going to say he's not a good trainer, but is he a good promoter?
How do you know I'm going to say he's not a good trainer? How in the goddamn world are we going to do this shit now?
Because
Are
I know
you,
that your buddy. I know that.
you, he's my buddy, so I'm going to say he's not a good trainer?
Yeah, just to bust his balls.
Why would I do that? I busted his balls at Flair's deal, and we kept saying, I don't rib and I don't want to be ribbed. And I kept ribbing him, and he looked at me in the eye and he got hot. He said, I don't rib and I don't want to be ribbed. I said, okay, I got it. I think I was a great trainer. I enjoyed the Wrestlers on Netflix. I finally did. I spaced it out over some time, made some time to watch it. But it showed the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of the ugly on there, and it shows you some of the heartbreak that people go through, and some of those people that are just caught glimpses of on camera, you never even heard about or knew about, and since then they have left OVW. So I thought it was put together very well, but I thought there was a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have put in there. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I don't think fans. I know fans are interested in what goes on behind the scenes, but I've always been one of those people. And when I was a fan too, I want to know what's going on behind the scenes. But once I got in it, then I said, "Oh, now I know where the privacy thing comes in," because it is something you want to hold close to your vest. You don't want everybody to know everything about you. So then, hey, it's just like us. No, you want some mystery to it. So that was the only thing. You don't want to show these people as regular people with jobs, even though that's what it is. And that was the storyline. They're working and living for their dream and working at the Holiday Inn or Cheddar's or wherever they have to work to survive their wrestling habit and continue on. So that was one thing I don't know that I would have gone that far into. And they didn't really go that far into it, but it just kind of put it in a different light for me.
Good promoter, Al Snow.
Well, Al has, as a promoter, that's a whole different animal than a trainer. And as a promoter, it was obvious Al needed some help. So that's when he brought these people in to help him. So in recognizing that you needed help is a big step forward, in my opinion. But Al has his way of doing things, and Al has his beliefs, as we all do. So whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the way it was. I really enjoyed the show, and I think Al is a great trainer, and I think he wants OVW to do well.
I feel like those guys, not all those guys, but some of those guys were disrespecting the owner, Matt Jones, a little bit too much. I didn't appreciate that. Some of those guys, this is the guy's paying your checks here.
Well, once again, a lot of those guys have never been around anybody who, if I can say it like this, was a real promoter, a real businessman, a real somebody with real money who's coming in and now is going to pay you. Doesn't matter what it is. You weren't getting paid. You were getting paid zero. Even if you get paid $20, it's more than zero. And a lot of those people live there. It's not a place where you can travel 4 hours to get to and expect to make money. You're going to not even make your gas money usually. But it's a place that you can get yourself on that stage. And they have to understand, Matt was giving them all these opportunities and made this summer tour And this was foreign to a lot of these people, to most of these young kids who've never really had anything like this. So the way they're talking to him, they have no idea. They wouldn't talk to, they may talk to Tony Khan like that, but they sure as hell wouldn't talk to Vince McMahon like that.
Right.
Not that this guy is Vince McMahon, but he's the closest thing to it in OVW because he came in. It's his money, and they were losing money every week. I can't remember the figure, but it was a lot of money every week.
Yep.
So what do you do to change that? You find ways, and that's what Matt was looking for. That's what this guy seemed to be doing. So he talked Al into getting in the ring, which was a good thing, and I think they're successful today because of it.
Hypothetically speaking, would you have booked ECW differently than Paul Heyman, or would you let it be?
Hypothetically speaking, I think I would let it be, just like Paul Heyman did it, because it was the right place, the right time for something like that. And it was, when I say the right place, Philadelphia, man, what a town, and what people live there. They are brutal. When it comes to letting you know how they feel about their wrestling and their sports teams, it's just my opinion. And ECW had the right amount of outlaw guys that, and when I say outlaw, I mean that with the utmost respect. The guys who were just going out and doing what they wanted to do, and they found a niche audience for it. I would have let it be.
Who was the most quote-unquote natural talent you've ever trained?
Wow. Well, one of the most natural guys who shouldn't have been natural would have been Kurt Angle. He took to it quicker and better than he had a right to, because he was an amateur wrestler his whole life, and it's an instinct as an amateur wrestler to not be on your back. And Kurt understood. Kurt had a innate ability to decipher what is and what isn't, and what he needed to bring, and how he needed to bring it. So I think Kurt had the most natural talent out of everybody. Rock was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's that guy Rock. I forgot about
that guy. He had natural talent. He was a charismatic guy.
Who was the most unnatural? Now, as far as maybe a guy that didn't get it.
Man, there's so many.
Don't say Brackus. Don't say Brackus.
I didn't say Brackus.
Okay, good.
You're the antagonist and my protagonist tonight.
Yes. Maybe you would say Brackus unnatural as far as his body, maybe, because he was taking some supplements, I'm sure.
Well, he likes his protein powder.
Nice. Given how many pro wrestling promotions exist today, are there things like territory days but on a smaller scale from Scorch? So are the territories coming back?
Given how many wrestling promotions exist today, are things like the territory days but on a different small? No, the territory days, you had the NWA, AWA, and WWF, and they were all working together pretty much. If you're under the NWA banner, you could bring in the world champion, and you could do a lot of other things. But no, they might have regional promotions coming back. Some of them, I know there's some places talking about maybe doing a regional run of towns in places like the Carolinas or maybe even Tennessee and things like that. But the territory days, you had a set crew that worked anywhere from 4 to 6, 7 nights a week, steady towns. And I just don't think that's available these days, not with as much information out there. We didn't have computers, didn't have cable. Now anybody can find out anything, what happened the night before. And it's different place, different time. That ship has sailed. I don't think that will happen again.
From Jason, to me, it's no surprise that Riddle was released. Too much bad publicity, especially with the new upper management.
Well, let me stop you right there because I know for a fact that Matt Riddle is your favorite wrestler, and I know that you have put a pedestal under his feet, and I know that you have at least 5 pictures on the other side of this camera of Matt Riddle.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I do know about that. I've been told, and but Matt is one of those guys who unfortunately couldn't get out of his own way. And I met Matt at a at a seminar in Charlotte. Nice guy. I like the crazy guys. I do. I like the crazy guys, and he's a crazy guy. And a lot of people in the business world don't like those kind of people because they can't get out of their own way. And that was what Matt kept doing. He just I don't even know what the tweet was. I read it, but I didn't really go into it. The tweet where he was at JFK.
Yeah, that was weird. Then he deleted it. Yeah, weird stuff.
Okay, so that kind of stuff, if you keep doing that kind of stuff, then people are going to keep going,
Plus, he
how,
got in trouble for sexual harassment. He's joking around about a cop doing it to him, and then he made them investigate the cop, and it was a joke. Like, ugh, so stupid.
I don't find the humor.
Not funny at all. No.
Yeah, I don't find the humor there when you're messing with stuff like that. And WWE publicly traded and now owned by Endeavor, and that's MMA fighting, and with his reputation, I heard Dana White say something the other day that Matt couldn't pass a drug test, and he fought 3 times a year. Well, I think if you really wanted to do this, you would find a way to do what you want to do and pass a drug test. But if you can't do the simple things they ask you to do, then it just shows you're unreliable and not someone they want on their roster, not someone they can trust.
He was a guy I was not surprised. I know you're saying you weren't really surprised by any of the cuts, but I was not surprised at all that he was cut.
No, I mean, it was coming because there was, too much excitement on his side. Too much busyness going on outside the ring with him, and you don't need that kind of distraction.
How about Al Snow versus Dr. Tom? Winner gets the territory. What do you think about that?
I think I'd put Al over in 3 seconds. Shortest match. If I could make it the shortest match in wrestling history, I'd do it. He could have the territory.
Do you remember how many times you've wrestled him in your career?
No.
Was it a bunch?
Well, it was a couple, but I don't really know if it was 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, I know we worked with him as the new Rockers.
Yep.
And where else? Maybe some
Smoky
other
Mountain.
places. Smoky Mountain. Okay.
Al Snow and Unabomber were a team over there. You guys wrestled.
Well, there we go. But I don't want the territory. He can have it.
When you look at that, would you like to have that match with him?
No, I don't want to wrestle anymore.
Oh, all right.
Al doesn't want to wrestle anymore. He even said he did. Well, he does, but he doesn't want to. I mean, at 60 years old, you don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself. I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself. I think I'm done.
I can see why people want to jump off a building when they're a promoter. You have to deal with so much BS.
Man, if you only knew showing what they showed on Netflix, that's just a smidgen. That much of what really goes on, and being a promoter, having to deal with everybody's headaches, and they bring you all their heartbreak and headaches, and it's never on the talent. Bill Watts said something years ago, and so I forget who told me this, but Bill said, I didn't realize how much the boys were an asshole until I got in the office. Bill was one of the boys, and when he finally got in the office, he saw the other side of it. It's like, wait a minute, it's not just one guy giving everybody problems. Everybody's got grief. Everybody's got things they need solved, and everybody wants to bring the problems to the promoter or the booker. And it's tough. It's not easy.
Al doesn't care for the new promoter, from what I understand.
Who, Matt?
I wouldn't go that far. Matt Jones, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go that far either. I think he just was trying to say what I took out of it is the way Matt would talk to people sometimes. He didn't understand where these, I'll say, kids were coming from. He didn't understand these guys have been on independent shows, outlaw shows, mud shows, and then they come to OVW and looking for a break. And OVW is probably the biggest production they've ever worked on as far as TV and the arena. The arena is nice. The professionalism. And Matt didn't understand that. He didn't understand the wrestling part of it. And Matt was trying to explain this to him, or Al was trying to explain this to him. And he was afraid for Matt because some of the guys may snatch him and do stuff like that. And it's happened before. So it's not unheard of. So I don't think it was that Matt or Al doesn't like Matt. I think he was just fearful that something would get out of hand. Matt wouldn't understand where it was coming from or why. And then Al would have no control over it. So I think that was the only thing he was trying to warn Matt about, is if you talk to these guys in a certain way and they grab you by your neck, well, we should have known that and cut it off the pass. It's a work. And the work is in the back.
Yeah, you're very true.
Yeah.
Magazine Retriever. Considering that CM Punk is almost 45 years old, his release from AEW comes at a point in his life when many wrestlers retire.
Yes, and it wouldn't surprise me if CM Punk retired again. I think he only did this. He came out for the money. He was offered a great deal. He came out, and then he saw the shenanigans that were happening in AEW and decided maybe this ain't the place for him.
Did you see what's going on lately in WWE, especially Monday Night Raw?
No.
So he's an announcer for an MMA organization. He said, I got about 2 months off. 2 months off. Survivor Series is in Chicago. So that's weird that he said that 2 months off. So Cody Rhodes is talking. He goes, oh, this guy's the best in the world. He deserves a second chance. Let him come to this locker room. Let's see how he is. And he's talking about Jey Uso. But if you really think about it, everything he's saying is about CM Punk. And he said best in the world, which is Punk's nickname. Later on, Seth Rollins says he's not the best in the world. You think he's referring to Jey Uso, but he's obviously referring to Punk. And he goes, I'm the best in the world. So it's interesting. Tease after tease after tease. And TKO Endeavor loves Punk. So I think he might be headed to WWE. I don't think he's going to retire.
Well, that wouldn't shock me either. I mean, the cool thing is you do still have surprises. Jade Cargill, is that how you pronounce it? Cargill.
Yes.
Just showed up at the PC.
Yep.
So,
and ESPN covered it, oddly enough.
Yeah. Well, not oddly enough. I mean, they're in good with ESPN, and I'm sure they wanted to make a big deal out of it.
No, but usually when a superstar just like debuts and people aren't that familiar with her, they don't usually go, ESPN is reporting. You know what I mean? They're actually making her seem bigger than she might be at this point, which is great.
Exactly, which is exceptional. I think it is great, and that's WWE's forte. They know how to make a superstar, and it's up to the superstar to follow through with it. They do.
And she looks like $1 million. So I mean, I think slam dunk on that one for her.
I agree 100%. I would like to see Punk come back, see what he can do.
Hey, they keep teasing something's going on with him. Richard said he polluted the chat. Sorry about that. No, you did not, Richard. And great picture. I love that.
No, you didn't. How did Richard pollute the chat?
I'm not sure. Okay. CPB was talking about how he had heat with Goldberg, meaning Riddle, and
Oh,
he had heat with Lesnar too. Remember, he just for some reason was talking about Goldberg and Lesnar. Like, dude, you're not in a storyline with them, and like, what do you do? Like, he's trying to get in a storyline with them by making fun of them behind the scenes. Ugh,
yeah,
bad, bad,
Matt's
bad.
probably not the smartest guy in the world, but nice
I
enough
know
guy.
I know he's a legit tough guy, legit shoot. But I mean, come on. I mean, Goldberg's a legend, and Lesnar would destroy him. So I mean, what are you doing? Come on, what are you
Who knows? Maybe he's smoking the wrong shit.
doing?
You
Yeah,
know?
it's true. Dolph Ziggler was a very good worker. What happened with him? Did he ask to be let go? Thank you.
I don't think Dolph asked to be let go. I think it was just one of those things. He's been there so long and was such a good soldier that he was easy to say, look, it's time to go. And there have been other guys. Danny Bryan knew it was time to go. Claudio knew it was time to go. A Big Show, Mark Henry. You know, just you reach that time. Nobody can stay there forever. Although,
Jericho.
although Jericho, although a lot of people do want to try and stay there forever, it's next to impossible. Everybody leaves and either comes back or stays away.
Do you speak to Vince now that he's not in charge?
No,
He's still in charge,
no.
though. He is still in
Yeah,
charge.
Vince is still in charge, I think. He's in charge of WWE stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Who
Yep.
knows?
And he's executive chair of TKO, so he's got a high-ranking position.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. And it's funny because Dana White is obviously involved too, but he's a lower position than Vince, way lower. So
So, what does Dana have to say about all this?
he basically was saying it's two different worlds. Keep WWE over here, we'll keep
Right,
UFC over here. He respects those guys. He likes those guys. There's a bunch of guys he does like, but he said there should be no crossover. He does not want any of that. He doesn't even want the
right.
fans crossing over, he said.
Well, you'll get that crossover from the fans because some fans who like pro wrestling will like MMA, and not all MMA fans like pro wrestling. So, but I think you'll get crossover.
Channel Bullseye said Al is a beast,
Al is a beast.
in better shape now than almost ever.
Yes.
And then he threw in a great gimmick, Leaf Cassidy, which I agree.
See, why?
Mitch Miller said, LOL, Leaf Cassidy gimmick.
Yeah.
That is one of those things where, I don't know, that era, a guy you may be related to is booking some of this stuff. I mean, some of those gimmicks are not great.
Well, there was the Pat Patterson era too, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know that wasn't all
And then
his idea.
there was a crazy guy after you guys that was booking crazy stuff. So sometimes it happens.
It happens, but here we are.
Who's your favorite opponent and least favorite opponent?
Well, my favorite opponent was Brad Armstrong. I don't have a least favorite. Most people I got in the ring with, I just did what I had to do.
Wow, I thought you were going to say Tim Horner, least favorite.
Why would I do that?
I don't know, just a hunch, just thinking in my head.
You've got some horrible hunches, John.
Did you like working with Tim Horner?
Sure.
Oh, okay, all right. I knew you were going to say Brad was your favorite because he's might be one of the best, if not the best.
Very much.
Wrestlers have really big egos, or is that an act? Al Snow kept rolling his eyes.
No, Barbara, it's not an act. What you see, what you see on on Netflix wrestlers, there's egos involved. That's for sure. Some of the egos don't fit the talent.
Your thoughts on Mike Awesome? I know he was not good on the stick, but he was a great inside and out. Your thoughts on the potential of Mike Awesome?
I thought Mike had a lot of potential when he came to WWE. I don't know what happened. He had the size, he had the look, but for whatever reason, he just didn't connect. And so I don't have any idea, but I like Mike. Seemed like a nice guy, but you never know what's going on with somebody.
Thoughts on LA Knight?
And how to book him from here. I like LA Knight. I think they're doing the right thing with him right now. And I don't get a chance to see him too much because I'm teaching nightly. But I've always liked LA Knight. I thought he's talented from the beginning.
Mike D. Hello, Mike D.
Hello, Mike.
Yes, Hall of Fame talk. Do you think Crush should be in the Hall of Fame? And
Yes,
Demolition.
yes, and
Yes,
yes.
and yes. Demolition, oh my God, should have been inducted 20-something years ago, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yes.
Scorch said, I was surprised when the sexual assault and kidnapping charges against Alberto Del Rio were dropped. I imagine that a lot of promotions don't want anything to do with him.
Well, again, we're looking from the outside in. We don't know what circumstances were, and so that's all I'll say about that because I don't know all
And
the
I remember when that
circumstances.
Page stuff came out, everyone was saying it was him. It
Yes,
was actually reversed. She was the one that was in trouble for a lot of the abuse and stuff. I was like, whoa. And I remember I interviewed him not that long ago, kind of skirted around some of the legal stuff, but he was saying, don't be surprised when everything gets dropped because it's bullshit. So I said, wow,
right.
well, we'll see. And it got dropped. So
Yeah, we
I don't
don't
know.
know the whole story, and then that's what sometimes happens.
He's
Uh,
he's in AAA, by the way, in Mexico. He gets booked down there.
Good for him. She's another guy that was in trouble a lot, but I got along with Alberto Del Rio too. He was interesting guy.
Always thought he was a great worker and
Yeah,
even great talker. Had a great look. He had a lot of the key intangibles.
yes,
Something
he
wasn't
did.
connecting as a babyface, but as a heel, I feel like he was great.
Yeah, he should have never been a babyface. I agree.
Mega Cat, or is that Meg Hostrak Cat? I don't even know what the heck that says. But
Mad Ghost Cat.
am I not
Mad
reading that
Ghost
correctly?
Cat. No, you're
Oh,
not
Mad
reading it
Ghost
correct.
Cat. Oh my God, I can't. I'm
Yeah,
not reading it
holy
correct at all.
Christ! What is? You know what?
I need glasses. I can't even
No,
see that
you
far.
need something. Maybe
But
have a drink.
I see the respect for Dr.
Yeah.
Tom. I see that.
Okay. Well, that's thank you, Madhouse Cat.
He
Mad
also
Ghost
says
Cat. Sorry.
Al Snow's best gimmick was Al Snow in ECW with the head.
I think that was probably his best gimmick too. I really do.
I already have respect for Al Snow again, even more when he rescued a kid from drowning.
He rescued a kid from drowning.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
had no idea.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah. He's a hero. Rick Sanchez, you think Goldberg would do good in AEW? Do you think he would?
I think if they use Goldberg the way they should, and which is the way everybody did, make him unbeatable and unstoppable, yes. But if he goes in and then he can't wrap his head around the
Goldberg?
the out of the
Ring post?
well, no, just the outside of the ring nonsense.
Hey,
Then he
Tony
would.
Khan is a Goldberg fan. He said that in interviews before, too. So I'm actually surprised he hasn't popped up there yet.
Well, his price tag might be a little high.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, even too high for Tony. You never know.
Jason says, do you think The Rock and John Cena are going to be back for long-term storylines? Seems like Cena, yes.
Cena maybe. Rock I don't know about because he has Hollywood commitments.
It seems like The Rock, they weren't teasing anything with the bloodline, but obviously they're teasing stuff with Cena. He's actually wrestling the bloodline. So interesting to see what's going to happen with The Rock. But man, when he came back, what a freaking pop. Holy crap.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
roof almost blew off the damn place.
Well, yeah, and that's why WWE is in the position they're in because they know how to take advantage of everything they have.
Del Mountain's got a really good one here, and I agree with him. I really enjoy Ricky Morton speaking. I like when he says, are you hearing me? Do you understand me?
You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I enjoy listening to Ricky too. That's what we call Southern talk. You hear me? You understand? You understand? Now understand me. Understand this.
You
Yeah,
worked him a time or two.
once or twice.
Yeah, only a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara's got a great question here. How is Riddle not in hell? Don't understand how anyone's cheering for him. He was annoying. Wow, hell,
No,
Jesus.
no, no, no. Why? How was Riddle not a heel? Is what she meant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was saying belong in hell.
What is wrong with you? Are you drunk? What are you
No, I
drinking
wish.
tonight?
No, I
No.
wish.
Well, how was Riddle not a heel?
Oh,
I
but it
could.
says hell. It says hell.
I know it says hell, but don't
Oh,
understand how anyone cheered for him.
he kind of should be a heel though,
Well,
or
maybe
should have been. He's gone. He's
should have
released.
been a yeah, should have been a heel, but I don't know. Matt is look what you saw on TV is what you got. I mean that was my Riddle, my opinion.
Remember that time he was, I don't know if he was high or whatever. Remember he screwed up that line with Asuka and she just
Yes,
stood there and she didn't know what to do or say. She just kind of like smiled and he
right,
walked away
right.
on live
Yeah,
TV. Yeah.
that's Matt Riddle for you.
Your thoughts on Jerry Lynn? Why do you think he was not a bigger star?
I think because Jerry was so good and nobody knew what to do with him in WWE. But Jerry Lynn was great. Jerry Lynn is great.
Eric Tate. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Eric.
CPB says Joey Styles buried Mike Awesome during the One Night Stand pay-per-view.
Did he?
Well, because remember, Mike Awesome left DCW for WCW as champion. There was still some resentment there for sure.
Well, it's petty resentment, I think, but
I agree.
I understand.
Scorch says, do you remember hearing about the infamous 700 Club moment where Tully Blanchard exposed Ricky Morton's marital infidelity? Ricky's wife left him. I thought it was a terrible thing for Tully to do.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on here. Who in the world, and including you, Scorch, who would suspect for 1 second that Ricky Morton and his lovely wife would be watching the 700 Club? You know what I mean, man? Come on. Hey, baby, you want to watch 700 Club? Tully's on. And that's probably how it happened. And not thinking, not realize it, that Tully's on there to confess. I mean, yes, it was a terrible thing for Tully to do. Tully's done a lot of terrible things, but he has now found the Lord and he's confessed and he's saved. So was it a terrible thing to do? Actually, I think it was meant to be because, Ricky has a nice, beautiful wife now and they're happy and things worked out for the best. But who would have thought, Tully especially, who's watching this tonight, Ricky Morton, is Ricky going to hear this? Is his wife going to hear this? No, he probably thought there's no way Ricky's going to know about this. Or he didn't even think about it.
Oof. Tully. He's the best. Frank says, I enjoy listening to Bill Apter. He has some interesting insights on the business. Billy Apter. Yes.
Bill's been around for a long time. Yeah, great guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Did you ever work Tracy Smothers? What a great human being. I'm going to have a feeling, yes. Besides on the side of the road, you guys worked the Thugs quite a few times.
We sure did. Or Tracy a few singles matches too. Yeah, he really was. Tracy's a great human being.
Do tough guy wrestlers get mad because smaller guys with better mic skills get better positions in the company? Thank you.
Well, Barbara, that's not always true, but I think they get mad because of a lot of things smaller guys do. But I don't think it has anything to do with the mic skills. I think it just has to do with sometimes getting over better than they did.
It was very unfortunate and sad loss of William Rotunda, isn't it? Wyndham Rotunda?
Wyndham.
Yeah, Wyndham Rotunda. Would you agree he was on the verge of starting another Attitude Era in the WWE with the hardcore matches he performed in?
I'm not sure if he was on the verge of starting another Attitude Era, but he was certainly one of those guys that people connected with, and he knew how to read the audience and again read the room and get over. So, yeah, it was a very unfortunate, sad loss. But he was on the verge of coming back, and he was on the verge of doing something great.
It is funny when you look at the Pitch Black match. Remember that weird match they did with him and LA
Yes.
Knight? But then afterwards, Triple H was talking about how Mountain Dew paid him like $1 million or something. So it's like,
Right.
all right, so I guess they're onto something there. Like, good job, for hanging
Yeah.
in LA Knight. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you make fun of it, and then you realize, oh my god, they make that much money off of a damn sponsorship.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We can sit here and knock it and criticize it all day long and talk about how bad it was, and then all of a sudden they say, "Yeah, but they paid us $1 million," and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh, it was great. It was wonderful. Of course
Yep.
it was." Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, we don't know the whole story, so you can't always. You wonder why some of the stuff goes on the air,
Right.
and when you get to the backstory of it, then it becomes a little clearer. But we're not all privy to that, so we don't know.
Dr. Tom and the Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey beat the Rock and Roll Express for the SMW Tag Team titles, SS 1993.
That's right. Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels got beat by the Heavenly Bodies.
Not,
Oh, that was Rock and Roll
oh,
Express.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
not Ricky and Robert.
Sorry. Well, you tell me. You were there. Yes, it was Ricky and Robert.
Yeah. It's a shame Matt Riddle has been canned. There aren't enough barefoot wrestlers working today. Interesting.
Okay. Magazine. I'll agree with you. There aren't enough barefoot wrestlers working today. That's. Oh, I see the emoji after that. Yeah.
Oh, he's laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
I have a feeling that there's somebody at WWE that needs to explain what the hell was going on with the shoes coming off the sandals. Somebody there needs to explain what that means, but
Well,
we'll never get an answer.
what do we really need an answer now? I think the answer is passed us by.
But even Strowman, when he used to do the thing outside the ring,
Choo
and and they'd play this stuff. We need explanation on this stuff.
choo. I think everybody was sitting around outside OVW, and Haley fired up a blunt, and they said, "What can we do different?"
Hey,
Yeah,
Hollywood.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
I like that
and
gimmick.
yeah, any gimmick, So
Yep.
and they said, "Well, let's have a choo choo train sound every time he comes around the ring, and he can do the choo choo." And wow, look at that! I want to do that. I don't even know why the light changes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, weird.
Choo choo.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
weird. You're right. Yeah. Al Snow, by the way, and Steve Blackman were a great team known as Head Cheese, an odd couple of wrestling. I did love that tag team.
Head Cheese is a great name for a tag team,
Great.
I
They were a
think.
great team. They were
Yes, sir.
hilarious together, too. Obviously, Blackman is the straight man there, and Snow is the jokester.
Right. Yeah.
ATF, always talking about Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. He's somewhat obsessed with Hands of Stone. I heard North Korea released that U.S. soldier due to fears of being punched by the Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin. This guy loves it. Have you ever
I
been knocked out by Ronnie Garvin or something? What's going on here?
I've never been knocked out by Ronnie Garvin, but I can confirm Kim on what's his name? Kim on well, the
Kim
leader of
Young
North
Un or whatever? Yeah. Kim Jong
yeah,
Un?
yeah, him.
Dennis
Uh
Rodman's buddy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Ronnie sent a word that if he didn't let that soldier out, he was going to come over himself across the line and knock him out. Mad Ghost Cat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Does Dr. Tom train future refs?
No. The reason why is because a lot of referees are friends of friends who come and friends of the promoters, and it's a rough show out there these days. Some of the independent, it's not hard to be a ref, but everybody makes it so difficult. All you have to do is put the illegal guy out in a tag match, count to 5, make sure they break, and stay out of the way. But everybody complicates it so much, and I don't have time to train referees.
You need to go to AEW and tell them that because they're not listening.
No, they're not listening.
Please tell us where to get the book, Dr. Tom.
Well, that book right there with the curriculum that we did use for a little bit, not in that form, but it's everything in that book we used. You can get that book at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Click on the training tab. It'll come right up and you can order the book. You can also find out about our fall session coming up next week and all the updates and happenings with JPWA. Just go to jpwrestlingacademy.com, find out all the information. And John Fetterman wants his sweatshirt back.
Yeah, he will get it for sure.
Okay, good.
Not too far away from him. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Just an interesting little question or a little factoid here. Since WWE has a deal with NBC to do 4 specials a year, I wonder if Saturday night's main event is returning. I was actually thinking that myself. I would almost guarantee that it would be.
I would hope so. Yeah, it sounds like it. If they got 4 specials a year, sounds like Saturday night main event is coming back.
And a $1.4 billion deal for SmackDown. So that's nice.
Wow.
Good job, Nick Khan over there. It's amazing how many former IC champs never held the world title. Holding the IC title didn't necessarily mean a guy would eventually be the face of the company. Yes.
Well, that's true, but the Intercontinental Championship was the working man's title, I think, is how it was described when you had people like Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler, and Honky Tonk Man made that a very interesting title many times when he stepped in the ring.
Yes. And just want to throw this out there. I just noticed on NXT, somebody you love, Brian Pillman Jr. is being teased. Somebody was watching a Bengals game, and somebody was watching WCW Saturday Night with Flying Brian headed out. So it looks like Flying Brian Pillman Jr. will be debuting for NXT soon.
Wait. What now?
They had a vignette, right? And you don't
Yeah.
know who it is, but somebody's watching TV. He's flicking the channels.
Yeah.
And it was some news thing in Cincinnati. Then it was the Bengals game. Then it was WCW Saturday Night. So they're teasing that it's Brian Pillman Jr., obviously.
Okay. Well, good for them.
Oh, before we finish it off, Mitch Miller wants a pick of the week. What's your headlock pick of the week, your prediction?
You know what? I think it's a week that I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to pick anybody there. I'm not going to pick a headlock this week. Hit me back next week, Mitch. How about that?
Now I know Colorado got killed last week. Unfortunately, I love the Buffaloes there with Coach Prime, but I would pick them this week. That would be my lock. I think they're again 21-point underdogs to USC. I know they're the 5th ranked team, but I'm going Colorado. I would definitely go them. I think they might win actually too. I know they got killed last week, but I have a good feeling about them this week.
Who does Deion Sanders coach for?
Colorado, the Buffaloes.
Yeah.
Coach Prime. Yep.
So,
and they got killed by Oregon last week, but I mean,
right.
Great start so far to the season. 3-1.
All right, cool. So I saw Deion on 60 Minutes. I thought it was a great interview.
He is the man. Yes.
Yeah.
He's bringing so much money into that school. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
and ratings to college football. Holy crap.
Yeah.
They had 9 million people watching the game that went, I think it was 10:30 at night till 2 o'clock in the morning.
So 9 million people versus how many are watching Raw right now?
1.5, 1.4 really. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. Pretty crazy. But thank you everybody for tuning in. See you right back here next week for a little Take It to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.